Are you looking to become a better leader, whether that's in business, in sports, or in life, and you haven't found a book yet to help you get to that game-changing aha moment? Well, we have the book for you. Tighten the Lug Nuts, The Principles of Balanced Leadership. Tighten the Lug Nuts will help you get to that game-changing leadership moment. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and iBooks, or at 360managementservices.com. That's the number 360managementservices.com. Pick up your copy today and start changing your leadership styles.
Now, it's time for the show.
Do this look like work to you? Nah, looking at the lights like it's all of this for me. Everyone tonight is here, all of this for me. Hands in the air, yeah, all of this for me. Bottles over here, all of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me. Light fast, light flash, all of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me. Bottles bringing bottles, yeah, all of this for me, for me. You for real?
What is up, Romo Sapiens? Hello, and welcome in to another edition of The Rome Show here on Hamilton Radio Channel 2. It's Monday. It's October 28th. It's 1:01 p.m. here at the Hamilton radio station. I'm Andrew Romanella. I will be taking you all the way to the 2 p.m. hour. We got my man Ruben behind the wall, mixing it up on the ones and twos. And boy, do we have a great show lined up for you today. I feel like we say that every Monday. Before I give you the show details and I give you the, of course, social media, I want to thank Mr. Rocky Romanella for filling in on October 21st show, as well as the president of the UPS store, Tim Davis, for jumping on the Rome Show. Anytime we can get two very successful leaders and gentlemen like that on the Rome Show, affecting the Romo Sapiens in a positive way, we have to celebrate it. We have to be amped up about it. We need to listen to it. But we have to thank them for taking that time. So I super appreciate that. And you know, humans, we have another great guest on the show. He's been on the show a few times in cameo appearances. Mr. Jim Mazur. He is the president of Progressive Handicapping. He wants to get on here, talk a little bit about the ponies, how to bet the ponies, and the Breeders' Cup coming up November 3rd and November 4th. So if there's anybody out there looking to put a little bit of the bananas on the Breeder Cup, Mr. Mazur is going to join us at about 1:15 to get in here and drop some of that knowledge for you. So super great show. And, of course, at Wide World of Rome, at Coach Romo24, either on Instagram and on Twitter. We have a poll running it up on the Coach Romo24 Instagram. That poll right now is, of the four major sports in North of America, which major sport does home field advantage matter the most? Okay? I'm about to rant and rave about that on Straight Off the Rome, but I want to know your opinion, because right now, early polls indicate 70% of people believe baseball is the most important for home field advantage. I would say that the World Series right now dictates otherwise, but we'll get into that in a minute. And then football comes in second. So if you want to vote on that, Coach Romo24 on the Instagram, go to the Instagram story. And then, of course, you guys know the deal, 609-807-2492. That's the phone number to call in, 609-807-2492. You can call the show at any moment in time, the entire show. And then the rumor is that Mr. Mazur, okay, we're going to be coming up with a nickname for him today, so that's super exciting. Mr. Mazur's got some fans, we should call them, from Progressive Handicapping that are going to call in and ask some really good questions, get some insight for the Breeders' Cup, and dive into a little bit of the ponies with the Romo Sapiens. So it's a plethora. It's a plethora on the Rome Show today, so I'm super stoked for it. Guys, here's the deal. All right, Straight Off the Rome today is fresh off of the sports equinox, okay? The sports equinox, excuse me. If you don't know what that is the one day of the year in which all four major sports are playing on the exact same day. So we had the NBA regular season and NHL regular season. We had the World Series, and then we had NFL Sunday, right? So you have all four major sports playing. It's the only day during the year in which all four major sports are playing. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching, some football, hanging out with the family. We're having a great day. I'm watching a little bit of hockey, getting geared up for the World Series, which is what I'm ultimately excited for, some basketball, the whole nine, right? We finally get to the World Series, and I'm conflicted. 2-2 series. The Nationals win 2 in Houston. The Astros win the first 2 in Washington. All 4 games are won by the road team. Going to sleep the night before Game 5, I'm thinking Max Scherzer's on the hill for the Nationals, going up against Garrett Cole. It's which starting pitcher duels it out. And as I'm finding out, obviously, that Max Scherzer isn't pitching throughout the day and that somebody else is going to be stepping in his place, but Garrett Cole is still Garrett Cole and he's still pitching for the Astros, I'm starting to say to myself, okay, there's a serious possibility the Astros win. They do. And it brings me to my ultimate point, which is starting pitching still matters in Major League Baseball. So anyone that wants to come up to me with the argument, and I remind you, 609-807-2492, call in with the argument. But anyone that wants to call in and tell me that starting pitching doesn't matter in Major League Baseball, see the World Series. See playoff baseball. See important baseball. Yes, ultimately, right now we're looking at the Astros winning 3 straight games because their offense decided to show up, which is great. But if you think about it, the Houston Astros beat the New York Yankees without hitting a baseball, really. Their offense wasn't there. They didn't have timely hitting, but yet they still won the ALCS. Why? Why, might someone ask? Because of starting pitching. Because when you roll out Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, and Zach Greinke as your 1, 2, 3 in the postseason, it is super difficult to beat that. Super difficult. And I heard Jessica Mendoza say the other day, and I thought it was a fantastic point. She says the other day, hey, listen, Zach Greinke could be a Hall of Famer if Zach Greinke figured it out 100% of the time. I agree 100%. He's not a Hall of Famer, but he has the stuff to be a Hall of Famer. And he's your third arm. Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, Patrick Corbin didn't have a great outing, but that starting staff has gotten the Nationals to where they are. Timely hitting helped as well, of course. But without starting pitching, you can't win anything. The relievers throw too much. You can't go to them every single day. You can't. It's not possible. You need starters to get you to the 5th and the 6th, 7th inning consistently. The Astros have that. They have it in the best possible way. So don't bring the argument up into the Rome show about how starting pitching doesn't matter anymore, because it matters. Again, see the World Series. And by the way, in the playoffs, teams that get hot, they're backed by starting pitching. And my next point, and I just told you it's a poll on the Instagram, Coach Romo24. In my opinion, home field matters as much as the next day's starting pitcher in baseball. Home field matters as much as the next day's starting pitcher. See 2019 World Series. 5 road wins. 5. And I would like to meet the people out there. I don't think they're in Washington. I would like to meet the people out there that they're going to tell me the Nationals are going to win Game 6 and Game 7 in Houston with Verlander and Greinke on the hill. Please, somebody tell me that that's going to happen, right? Well, home field advantage is only as good as the next day's starting pitcher. Now, one might say home field advantage for Justin Verlander is not as important because he's never won a World Series game. Most starts in the MLB, 6 without a World Series victory. So I think the home field advantage for the Astros takes it down a notch going into Game 6. But ultimately, because of the starting pitching they are about to probably win the World Series. It still matters. It still matters. And I'm curious. I was so curious to see that more people said that baseball home field advantage mattered than the other 2 major sports. I think it's football, man. You can get in the quarterback's head. You can cause them to not hear. You can cause the offensive lineman to not hear. You can cause them to jump off sides, man. If a goalie in hockey is standing on his head, you neutralize the crowd. If a pitcher on the mound is absolutely throwing lights out, you neutralize the crowd. In basketball, if a dude's just shooting, you neutralize the crowd. In football, you could always not neutralize the crowd because they can. And now, I get it. If you're Tom Brady and you go up 14 touchdowns, you neutralize the crowd. You could have that argument in theory with every sport, but it's just easiest to step out in inning number 1 as a starting pitcher, go 1, 2, 3, throw 9 pitches, and have the whole crowd go, uh-oh. It's that type of night. A goalie makes 2 big saves early in the first period. Uh-oh. It's going to be a tough night to put the puck in the net, right? In football, yeah, you know what? That guy, Tom Brady might go down and score right on his first drive, but on his second drive, somehow you get him to 3rd and 12. Well, then all of a sudden the crowd gets amped up. You're fired up. Call timeout. In football, it matters more to me. Last thing I got. Last thing. Now, I'll get back to that during Romalytics. Don't worry, because I'll give you the Romalytics on the poll during Romalytics. I don't want to hear about these robot umpires right now. I get it. Okay? I get it. Lance Barksdale, the home plate umpire from last night, blew a little bit of a call. I feel it. Right? The pitch before Zimmerman walks, it was even closer than the pitch in which the next player struck out. I get it. I understand that. But here's my argument to this whole robot umpire thing. Because everyone says, oh, but then you're never going to mess up strike calls. False. Someone give me the technology that's never broken. Somebody give me the technology that has worked for 100% of its lifespan without having to be fixed, without having something go wrong for then you to fix it. Everything breaks. Everything gets worn down. Everything has to be replaced. So my point being, you're telling me that we're not going to be in Game 5 of the World Series in 2035, let's say, and there's an automated umpire, and for some reason that day, that's the 1% glitch that happens, and it's a strike 3 call on a ball that bounces. What do we do? Oh, no, we just won't call that a strike. No, because then now you're arbitrary on so many others. Because no matter what, some pitches are still going to look like balls that are strikes, and some are going to be strikes that look like balls, i.e. the top of the strike zone. Every time a guy throws a curveball to the top of the strike zone, it looks like a ball, but it's actually a strike because it's breaking into the top of the strike zone. So no matter what, there's going to be people that are pissed off. There's going to be people that are bothered by calls. And my next point about that is, what do you do about the base umpires? Because you say, oh, it's the human element. The guy shouldn't have to be worrying about the home plate umpire and what his strike zone is and how many strikes he calls on the black compared to not on the black. But yet there's still humans calling out and safe calls in the field. And furthermore, you can then make the argument, okay, oh, well, yeah, but they have, challenges. Well, yeah, okay, but it's still all human element. It's still a human looking at a video, making a human decision based on what the human sees. But yet at home plate, you're not allowed to have human element unless it's a play at the plate. Well, it's still human element. So if you can't eliminate all of the human element in terms of the umpires in Major League Baseball, right? How can you only eliminate some and tell me it's going to get better? Well, Andrew, the strike zone will be a whole lot better. Okay, I don't disagree, but at the same time, all the technology I've seen, Arizona Winter League, the Atlantic League, independent baseball, it's not great right now. And I've talked to umpires that have had to be the home plate umpire for the technology, for the automated umpire, and it's a delay. You sit there, you know the call, you can't say it, you're waiting for the automated, then you have to make the call. It's weird. It almost slows the game down in a way. Now, I get it. There's kinks, it's new, it's fresh, things are going to have to be fixed, whatever the case is. I get all those things. But at the end of the day, you're not going to ever eliminate the human element. So why? And if you look at, and I found a cool website. It is swishanalytics.com. And I got MLB umpire factors and statistics from the whole league, right? And they got this thing called the K boost, which is like, okay, if it's a certain number, it's how much more percentage of strikes this umpire calls compared to that umpire. And Lance Barksdale is at a 12% clip. So he calls 12% more strikes than balls than the average umpire. So what that tells me, right, is that essentially if there's 100 pitches thrown, Lance Barksdale is going to call 12 more of them strikes than balls, okay? Yeah, it puts offense in the game, A, okay? And B, we're really talking about not a huge difference. right? And you're going to tell me, okay, so now maybe the technology makes it 2 or 3 pitches. So there's 9